Hello, my friends, and welcome. I hope you're all having a lovely summer, and I'm so thankful that you're here spending some crafty time with me. I could not resist doing a Christmas in July page for Aall Create, so let's get going. I have shown me using this timholtz and Sizzix embossing folder called Lumber before, but it is a favorite of mine, so we are using it again. I have Distress Mixed Media Craft Heavy Stock, and I spray the paper with water with a little bit of fabric softener mixed in to avoid tearing the paper. I run the cardstock through my die cutting machine and end up with panels looking like wood. And while I have my die cutting machine out, I always make many wood panels for future projects. To enhance the wood look, I bring out vintage photo distress ink and blend it in from the edges. Then I bring out black soot archival ink and blend over the panels, bringing out those wood grains. So, we are doing Christmas crafting today, and I bring out a stamp set called Jolly Elements number 560 by Bipasha BK. I load my stamping platform with all of the images and stamp them in VersaFine Onyx black ink. I also bring out another stamp set by Bipasha BK called Farmyard Friends number 620, and I stamp the duck the same way as before. Today I'm working in my 8x8 Dilutions journal, and I want a Christmas decorated window, so I draw the window in pencil and use a blade to cut it out. So, let's color these images, and I'm using my SIG Clean Color Real Brush markers. I have a pot with water and a round brush beside me, and I'm using a sheep paper. I am a paper snob, and I love heavyweight paper, but I found that my SIGs work well on this paper, and so does fussy cutting. So I use my heavy cardstock for backgrounds, and often this 200 milligrams paper for my images. I always pick out my color combinations before I start, and this time I have as many as 5 shades of red. I don't always use them all, depending on the image, but it's handy to have many reds to choose from, and I put them in order from lightest to darkest. I use 3 shades of red for the berries, and use that brush with water to blend out harsh lines, and for the leaves I'm using 3 shades of green, going light to dark and back again. On a small image, I might use 3 shades, and more on a larger image. Here I'm using 4 red shades, going from lightest to darkest and blending out with water in the center of the flowers, so they are lighter in the centers and darker further out on the petals. I left a lot of coloring in this time, sped up. So if watching coloring isn't your thing, you can just fast forward a few minutes. I use the same red markers and technique to color the Santa hat. It is hard to catch the light gray shades on camera, but in order to give the white some dimension, I use 2 light gray markers around the edges and blend them out with water. On this amazingly beautiful cluster of Christmas flowers, I start with 3 shades of green for the leaves, going lightest to darkest and blending out with water. For the flowers, I'm using all of the red shades in different combos depending on the size and shapes of the petals, and I'm using that brush with water to blend them together, lighter towards the center of the flowers. I'm using the same reds on these Christmas ornaments, leaving a highlight and blending with water. For the beak on this goose, or duck maybe, I'm using 2 yellows and an orange, and for his white feathers I'm using those light grays to give him some depth. For this lovely dog I'm layering several grey markers and a touch of black, blending with water, adding more color and blending again. So, let's make an inky mess. I absolutely adore to use sprays. You can only control them to a point and then not at all. I have Distress Oxide sprays in Rustic Wilderness and Lucky Clover, a Distress Spray stain in Twisted Citron, 2 Mica Shimmer sprays, and a dilution spray in Cut Grass. I always start with water and then Twisted Citron, Cut Grass, Lucky Clover, Rustic Wilderness, and on top of all that I spray the mica shimmer spray stains. I add more water and tilt the journal so they can run and blend. When my background is completely dry, I start building my window. I have those wood panels cut into strips, and I glue the wood strips onto the cut-out window frame and end up with a wood-framed window to Christmas decorate. I use a black marker to go around inside my window frame so no white cardstock is showing. You guys know I have to add to this background, and I bring out Nuvo Silver Expanding Mousse and a stencil I often use called Lotza Starz by Autour de Moi. I push that expanding mousse through that star stencil all over my background, and when I add heat with my heat tool, those stars will get a distressed 3D texture. I lost the footage of me heating the stars, and I'm so sorry for that, and for some footage lost later on, but I hope this makes sense anyway. When everything is dry, I use Distress Collage Medium to glue that window frame to my background. So, let's put this page together, and I'm cutting some of the flower clusters down to fit inside the frame. And then we have that footage lost again, and we come back when the dog, duck and flowers are in place. I apologize for this mess. I add a couple of flowers and then I bring out glossy accents that gives a domed glass effect, and I add it to the duck's monocle, the glasses on the dog, and to all the berries on this page. For a sentiment, I'm using a set called Miss Mary number 608 by Janet Klein, and I decide to go with just Merry Christmas. I also bring out Wow's bright white superfine embossing powder. I stamp Merry Christmas on one of the wood strips with Versamark embossing ink and cover with that white powder and melt with my heat tool. The last detail on this page is to glue that Merry Christmas onto my page, and with that, this Aall and Create Christmas in July art journal page is finished. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will come back soon. I have fun projects with Timholtz, Art by Marlene, Aall and Create and Illusions coming up. Until the next time, happy crafting!